Hey, what's up? This is Chad with Wappler, the visual web app creator. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a simple Bootstrap 4-page. First, we need to create a new project. To do this, go ahead and click Create Project and then select the blank project. Now, Wappler has a lot of great demo templates built in. But right now, we're just going to be building from scratch so you can see how easy it is. So now that we've done that, let's go ahead and name our project. I'm just going to call mine Bootstrap 4 Project. Then we have to tell Wappler where to store our website files. So to do this, select the project folder and browse to where you want your project to be located. Since we're not building a mobile app, we'll want to set our project type to website and click the Create button, and that's it. We have a new website project. Now, open the File Manager by clicking the icon on the top left corner. Then simply create a new file and give it a name. I'm going to call mine index.html. Then double-click the file so it opens and go ahead and close the File Manager panel. Now, a great thing about what we've done with Wappler is that we've included many frameworks. There are two main ways to add one. You can click the blue icon in the middle of the page, and you can also click the framework menu. Let's go ahead and open the framework menu. Here you can see all the different frameworks we have. Go ahead and select Bootstrap. Then choose how you want to implement it. Do you want to use the CDN, store it locally? Do you want to use one of the Bootstrap themes? I'm going to go ahead and click the CDN option. So now we want to add the App Connect framework. Now, in case you're wondering, the App Connect framework is a client-side framework that allows you to build dynamic websites and apps, as well as custom components, dynamic attributes, events, and smart data for form inputs. Now, that's a lot being said, and for a lot of that, we're going to cover it in future tutorials. But just know this, that everything that App Connect brings, it does it blazingly fast. So anyways, now we're going to click the Add Element button. Using the Smart Context menu, let's go ahead and add the header template. I'm going with one that includes the brand element and a navigation menu aligned to the right. This is generally how I like my websites to look. Now that we've added an element to the page, don't forget that we can select or edit it simply by clicking on it. This shows all the available properties in the Properties panel. And you'll want to remember that each element has its own options. So the Properties panel content changes depending on what is actually selected. You can select items, just as a reminder, by clicking on anything on the page. You can also do it down here at the bottom, and you can do it up here. Now, like I said, the Properties panel only shows the options that are relevant to the item you have selected. And I really love this because it keeps all the stuff you don't need out of the way. So let's go ahead and click the header. And then click the Add After button. Now you notice there's 3 plus signs here, right? So the top one adds an element in front, the middle one adds it inside, and the one on the bottom adds it afterwards. So we're going to go ahead and click that After button. So let's go ahead and open the content category, and we're going to choose Section. And then using the Add Inside button, let's add a Jumbotron element. When it's added on the page, the Jumbotron can be styled depending on your needs. For example, we can center its content. Also, we can select any element inside it and change its style. For the button, I want to set the color to a different color, and I can do that right here. And then we can change the button size to default. Now, we need a second button here, and we can do this easily by clicking the duplicate option. Then we can simply create the style we want. So now we're going to want another element after the Jumbotron, and we can do that by clicking the Add New Element After button. Let's go ahead and add a Bootstrap container, then add a row inside of it. And finally, add a column. So this column is a little boring, so let's go ahead and style it a bit. I'm going to set its default size to 12. Now, what about other screen sizes? Well, we can take care of that too. For tablets, I'm going to set the size to 6. And for larger screens, we want to show 3 columns. So let's go ahead and set it to 4. Then I'm going to add some margin to the column. To do this, you just scroll down to the spacing section in the Properties panel and open the Margin menu. Now we'll set the bottom margin to 4, and that's it for styling the column. So one thing I want to mention really quick is that Wappler is all about power. And there's a sort of complexity that comes with power, right? So we've worked really hard to make sure that the power balances out into efficiency. And the other thing we're doing is we're updating Wappler on a weekly basis by taking into account the feedback we get from people. And we're pretty proud of this, so if you want to join in with the future development, make sure you stop by our forums. And not just that, but it's also a great place to get help and to make new friends. Okay, so I mentioned efficiency, and this next part is a great demonstration of that in action. We're going to create some cards. So let's go ahead and add a Bootstrap card after the columns we created. I'm going to use the card with an overlay image. So obviously we need to change the default image. So to do this, let's just select the image in the Structure panel and then browse to the image that we want to use. It's really as simple as that. Now, 1 card is great, but 6 cards is superlative. And the good news is that it is pretty easy to make that happen. So let's go ahead and duplicate this card 5 times. As you can see, this carries over the same content as the card we started off with, which is really great, so you can get an idea what the final product might look like. So let's go ahead and select the second card element that we started with, and then click the card image in the Structure panel. We're going to change its image source. We do this by simply browsing to the image we want and selecting it, then do this for the remaining cards. So to reiterate all this, once you've styled an element, you can duplicate it as many times as you need, and you can change the content when you're done. Then you can preview how your page looks so far on the major devices such as phones, tablets, laptops, and large screen computers. And you can do this by simply using the icons above the page you are working on. So that wraps up our tutorial on using Wappler to build a Bootstrap 4 page. Stay tuned because we're going to have a lot more tutorials coming your way, and we look forward to creating great things together.